You are so smart.
The other one.
All right. All right. What's your name, man? Welcome. How we looking up there, John?
One second, pick up.
It should be.
I started up to the original. Pick up. It's supposed to be the reason why people can't see me up on
It.
small
It's good. There you go, right there.
It's the matter of getting it to
Scoot your that little easel thing over to your right. Yeah.
too much. Is that enough?
No, you're good. You're good. So you're on, my friend.
Okay.
Welcome again, man. 5th episode. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Undeniably Sports Talk with Hal White. What you got for us today, man?
Well, there's a few subjects I want to talk about. I gave them to you, so you can go at me. So we'll start there. And I mean, there's some things that you sent me. A couple of, might be underneath the computer.
I got it.
Oh, you got it.
We'll start first with Bill Walton.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Bill Walton.
That's the sad part.
Okay.
He passed away a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
I actually grew up watching Bill Walton play basketball. He played for UCLA, played for 3 years. He came in the era right after Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who back then was Lou Alcindor.
Okay.
But he came right after Lou.
Okay.
And I had seen him play on a tape in high school, and I surmised that he was going to be a good basketball player. I didn't know he was going to be as great as he ended up being.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the great basketball players, big man.
Okay.
Big man. Bill was, depends on who you asked him, Bill was 6'11". Some people would say 7'2".
All right.
Some people say 6'10", but he says he's 6'11".
So we'll keep the line. We'll keep it alive for him, man.
What he said. But Bill was a great basketball player. I got a chance to watch him at UCLA, and after the first year that he played, I surmised that he might just be as good as
Don't say it.
Lou Alcindor.
Really?
But as far as his talent, he was as good as Lou. He was just as good as Lou. Lou had some things that he just didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
But
he had the skyhook.
The skyhook, but Bill had the outlet pass, and he just had a great eye. He had a great IQ for the game of basketball. I'm not going to try to compare the two of them. What I'll say is this. As far as college basketball was concerned, in my lifetime, those were the two best college basketball players I ever saw.
Really?
Yeah. That means that's.
Were you really big into college ball?
Oh yeah, back then I was really big. I loved UCLA.
You preferred that over the NBA?
Yeah. And the reason why is because UCLA always won back in the 60s and the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
They won like 10, 11 championships. I think they won maybe about 7 or 8 in a row. Then they lost, and then they came back and won a few. But they won before Lou Alcindor got there, before Bill Walton got there. They won with Walt Hazzard and Dale Goodrich. They had great teams. They had a great coach.
Okay.
The Wizard of Westwood.
That's what they call it.
Yeah, John Wooden. And,
Okay.
he was a great coach. He handled those guys like men, and that was why he was as successful as he was. He was a very good motivator. So I saw Bill, and Bill didn't do exactly what Lou did, but he did win. Out of the 3 years he was there, he won 2 championships.
Okay.
So there's only maybe a couple of guys that won as many championships as he did. I can't really get into that. Well, I can. There's a few, but they had a record at one time.
Right.
88-0.
88-0.
88-0.
That's how many games they played.
Played 88 games.
Is that the same? How many games do they play now?
They played. This was over a 2-year period.
Oh, okay.
They played 3-year. When I think about it, yeah. They
So
played
over
88 games and they lost none.
In what years are we talking about?
71, 2, and 3.
So it wasn't surprising that he would get drafted. It's probably in the first draft pick.
Very first person pick. He was
From UCLA.
From UCLA.
Right.
Portland picked him first. And his career started off kind of shaky as far as the pros were concerned because he couldn't stay healthy. He had terrible problems with his feet. Most big men do have bad
coordination.
Not coordination. They just have bad. They're big and their
alignment or
their bones. That's it. Their alignment don't go in with their feet, so they have issues with their feet. So
thank you.
He had issues with his feet, but once he got the issues kind of taken care of, he had a great career. He had a nice career.
Once he figured it out, and once somebody could have been what you think because the teams have doctors and they have medical assistants.
But a lot of times they just didn't know what was actually wrong. They knew that something was wrong.
Did Kareem have that same problem?
No, he didn't. I think maybe later on in his career he may have, but he didn't have it. But the people that
the
did
big
have
guys.
Big guys had it, like this guy Odom that came out of. He was a first-round draft pick in the early 2000s. He had that problem. Patrick Ewing had a slight problem with his feet. Yeah, a lot of big guys. Usually, it's only the bigger guys.
The only person I could probably make a comparison to right now would be Luke, the guy from Denver. What's the big guy from Denver?
Joker,
because he barely jumps off the ground.
Yeah, he doesn't jump high.
And I wonder, would he? So I guess he probably didn't have a similar situation.
He hasn't had it. I haven't.
He just doesn't. He doesn't utilize it. It was a little bit more physical when Bill was playing.
Yeah,
Bill was playing. So the demand was a little bit more from a big guy.
Yeah.
They demanded. Now
Bill was a real active guy. He was real active.
Because what was his position? What was his?
He played center.
He played center. And where does Jokers play? Center. That's usually where they put the big guys.
Yeah. 6'10", 6'11", 7 feet, 71. That's where the big guys go.
I remember him, man. I think I caught the tail end of him playing.
Okay.
The tail end.
At the end of his career,
what was that, mid-'80s or something like that?
Yeah. He went to when he left Portland, he played a year at LA.
Right.
The Clippers. And he started playing well, and then all of a sudden he had the problem again. He bought his contract out and went to the Boston Celtics. He worked hard at Boston. I think he worked maybe about 2 years, just getting his feet together. And he went over there with Larry Bird and
right.
Kale.
Mm-hmm.
And he came off the bench. He was a bench player. He came off the bench, and ironically, he won the sixth man of the year that year.
So they had McHale, Bird, and Bill Walton on that.
Bill Walton and Robert Parrish.
Right.
Robert Parrish. And one of the really nice things that Bill Walton did was when he came to Boston, the first thing he wanted to do, usually players want to go and see the town and get accustomed to the staff and so forth and so on. He wanted to go to Robert Parrish's house and see Robert Parrish and let Robert Parrish know that I'm not coming here for your job. I'm coming to help you. And that meant the world to Robert Parrish, and he was serious about that. He actually meant that. And that's what he did. They came, and he came to Boston, and they played that season.
They played against Magic and them, man?
They won a championship. No, they didn't play Magic in the championship.
So Magic did, so the Lakers didn't go that year?
They didn't go that year.
Okay.
One of the few years that they
Right.
they got beat by a fluke play. Ralph Sampson.
Okay, I remember Ralph
The
Sampson.
ball behind his head, and the ball went in the basket. And back then they were playing best two out of three. Houston beat them. Houston went to the championship, and they played Houston in the championship, and Boston won. And Bill won the most
MVP?
No, he didn't win the MVP.
Okay, that would have been to Larry Bird.
Larry Bird won. He just was the sixth man of the year that year.
Okay.
And he started the season the next season, and he was in practice. He was playing, and he went up for a block shot, and he broke his finger. And while getting the finger healed, the foot problem came back. So that kind of hit it. This was the other foot. At first, it was just this one foot, like for example, the left foot.
Right. Sometimes they have what they call a sympathy injury. If one part of your body, at one side, the other side, normally it goes, like that.
So he injured the other foot, and that kind of ended his career right there. But he had a wonderful career. A lot of people like myself would have loved to have seen him play on,
because he had a couple more years left.
Yeah, he had a nice. I would have liked to see him in between those injuries and stuff, where he was.
Because he was a little older than Larry Bird, right? Or around the same age?
No, he was younger than Bird.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Because when did Larry?
No, wait a minute. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, he was older than Bird.
Because when did Larry Bird retire?
Bird retired
88 or 89 or something like that.
He played in he retired in the 90s.
Really?
He retired like 94, 95.
Okay.
In that era, because he went. If you remember, he played in the. Might not have been that late. He played in the.
You sure?
The Dream Team.
I remember that. I remember the Dream Team.
Okay, and he played. I think he played one more year. So he retired around 93.
Okay.
93, 94. In that area.
Because I know him and
he had a bad back.
Him and Magic had that thing going for a long time, So
they opened up the game.
They made it more interesting.
They brought it back to prosperity.
They made it more interesting until Jordan came in, and then he kind of took it to another level. Yeah. So like I said, I remember Bill Walton, and did Bill Walton also commentate? Do some sports commentating. I think I remember him from that as well.
He did a lot of commentating for the Pac-12.
Right.
It started off the Pac-8, then it went to the Pac-10, then it went to Pac-12. He did a lot of commentating for that. And one day he didn't show up. He was working for ESPN. And he didn't show up, and they terminated him.
Wow.
And
what was up with that?
Well, I don't know exactly.
They was ready to let him go anyway?
When you don't show up and you're not giving them a reason,
I don't know. I think they were probably ready. to get some new blood. Because I'm thinking fast forward.
Bill was a character. He had a stuttering problem,
right,
for most of his career, and once he got the stuttering problem adjusted,
right,
you couldn't stop him from talking. He was gone to the races, and he talked about everything. He had a lot to talk about, and a lot of times it wasn't nothing about that.
It wasn't relevant to what you were talking about.
Relevant, but he just
I'm kind of in that situation. I stuttered for a long time too. A lot of people don't know. Oh yeah, man, I was real terrible.
I can't hardly believe it.
So what happens once you figure out how not to stutter? Wow. You become very vocal, and a lot of opinion. You can become opinionated. A big part of the first 10, 12 years of my life, I was stuttered, man. I stuttered and stammered. Really? I was terrible.
What's the difference?
Stutter is what stutter is and stammering is like you can't get it out. Okay. So my dad stuttered and stammered too. He said,
really?
Yeah, he said, when you're talking in your head, do you stutter? I was like, no, I don't. Okay. He said, stuttering is just you wanting to get a whole bunch of words out at one time.
Right.
Slow down. Okay. Take your time.
I think that's what Bill.
And that's another famous stutterer, Bill Withers, did the same thing. He stuttered. He was a stutterer stammerer. So yeah, once you figure out the art on how to overcome it, you become very vocal, man. Okay.
Well, that's what happened to him.
Probably too vocal.
It was because he did a lot of stuff on air but he had a sidekick that was very patient with him and didn't
didn't question him or anything like that. Just he went with the flow.
Yeah, I saw him do an interview yesterday. He is very graceful, grateful that he even had an opportunity because Bill had a really good command of the English language.
Yeah.
And he loved Grateful Dead.
And riding his bike.
Yeah, he loved bike riding.
Right.
He loved bike riding. And he loved Grateful Dead.
It shows that he described himself as a joy rider.
Yeah. He described himself as the luckiest man on earth.
I mean, and so with a career like him, those are the early days of when broadcasting was really starting to come to light with basketball. Really coming to light, man, but he looked like a pretty cool guy.
He was.
Did you ever meet him?
No, I didn't.
You ever see, but you saw him in person play.
I saw him in person a few times.
Right.
Because he started playing right after Pauley Pavilion was open.
Okay.
In UCLA.
Okay.
And that's when he came. That was his era. Lou started it, and then the rest is history. Lou Alcindor. I say Lou Alcindor, but it's
Kareem.
I'm talking about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah.
And Kareem finished off the pick.
Right. So were you in the stands like when they go back to the locker room, you had your hand holding out, waiting for Bill Walton and Kareem to come? You never did. Hey, it's okay, man, if you did that.
No, I wouldn't.
You never did that.
I just wanted to be there.
Right.
I just wanted to be there. I just wanted to observe greatness.
Yeah, you got a history, man. You got a history of, on everything you've seen, far greater than what I've seen. I've never been to. I want to go to a Laker game. I've never been.
I haven't been to the Laker game since they.
But you've been to a Laker game.
Oh, I've been
at the Forum back in the day. That was in the classic days when Magic.
I went to the Laker game when they were at the Sports Arena.
Okay, see, I don't even know about that.
Yeah, the Sports Arena was the first arena that they had, and we could sneak in. I had a partner of mine. We'd sneak in the Sports Arena because we were like 12, 13, 14 years old.
Really?
And we could sneak. There was a way to sneak in.
Right.
And we would sneak in, and then when we got a little older, say 14, 15 years old, we could put together enough money to buy a ticket. $3.50.
Like a nosebleed.
Yeah. and just see, we just want to get in.
Right.
You know, once you get in, you can go.
You good. You can walk wherever you want to walk. You go where some empty seats at, man.
It was the same thing with the forum.
Mm-hmm.
Once you got in, you just go where you, because the forum was always packed.
Right.
The capacity was 17,666.
Okay.
That was the
Plus it
capacity.
had other entertainment coming to the forum, playing, you know.
Oh yeah.
There too. So so that was cool, man. So yeah, man, just give a shout out to Bill Walton, man.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. Like I said, he seemed like a pretty cool guy.
He was.
You know, so yeah, but prayers go out to his family and everything like that.
He had 4 sons. One was the coach of the Lakers for a while, Luke Walton.
Okay.
So he wasn't very.
They're not related to the Waltons that own Walmart, are they?
I don't think so.
You know,
no, because Bill had a lot of money problems.
Oh yeah.
So if he had money problems, he wasn't related to the Waltons.
Okay, no, they would have cleared that up, man. They would have cleared that up. Okay, so let's talk about, man. Let's move the subject. Let's talk about baseball a little bit, man. We always kind of, you know, fill your episodes up with basketball.
The big issue right now in baseball, a sad issue also, but it's not a death, but a sad issue, is the MVP of the National League who had a monumental year last year.
Okay.
I mean, when I say monumental, it was like, wow, you know. He got hurt. He had hurt himself a couple of years back.
Okay.
He tore his meniscus, and he tore the other meniscus. He tore the right meniscus the first time. He came back, he got healed. He was okay, and he tore his left meniscus this past week, a couple of days ago. And he's a great player. You hate to see a guy as talented. You hate to see
have his career cut short.
Yeah, as talented as him, because he's a shoe-in for the Hall of Fame.
Right.
You know, like they might as well put him in now. And he's young enough to where he can get himself together and possibly get back.
You're talking about Acuna, right?
Acuna.
Yeah. Okay. He plays for Atlanta, right?
He plays for the Atlanta Braves.
Okay.
Very good bat.
Okay, now you probably know a little bit more about him. How did he tear his meniscus, man?
It was a freak accident.
All right.
He did it. He was standing. He was on second base.
Yeah.
He took a lead off, and the pitcher turned around and saw him lead it off and was going to throw the ball, and he kind of
did one of those
numbers and couldn't make it back. And that's when the
tear happened.
He just went. So it was a non-contact.
Yeah, that's one of those flukes.
That means that
they don't have to honor.
No, they have to honor. What it means is that what happened was it was sitting there waiting to happen. It was gonna happen eventually. It was gonna happen. It was sitting there. They gotta honor it because he's playing baseball.
And he was in a game.
Yeah.
He was actually in the game, so they will honor it. So and how old was that guy, man?
I think Acuna is probably about 20, no more than 26.
Okay.
That's a good question. I don't really know that.
No problem. But I'm looking at his record right now, man. And he has a record-setting season, including 41 home runs, 73 stolen bases.
Right. That's never been done.
Yeah,
Stop
man.
Right there. That's never, ever.
Is he a Dominican cat or where he from?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's never been done. 41 home runs. The big deal with baseball is it used to be back in the day where if you were a 30-30 guy, meaning if you had 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases, you were a great ball player. You were a great ball player.
Right.
And the only person that had done that back in the day was Barry Bonds. Not Barry, but his father, Bobby Bonds.
Bobby Bonds.
Okay. Then Barry comes up. There was a few people that did 30-30, a couple of guys. Then Barry comes up, and he does a 40-40.
Now you're speaking about Barrett. Speaking about Barrett, along with a couple other people.
Yeah.
Does his record come into question because of the juicing?
Yeah.
Thing.
It does come into it. But all of them were there.
Right.
All of them were there.
They just exposed. They were in the era where they were just exposing everybody.
That's just part of baseball. It was always part of baseball. Baseball players always did something. If it wasn't juicing,
they got the shot in the butt.
Amphetamines, they were taking something. You know what I mean? That's just the way it was.
But here's the thing about juice and steroids and all that stuff. It ain't like juicing can't take a no talent monk and turn them into a talented monk. You actually have to have some type of talent. So that's what I think about. Now, Barrett, what was the other guy? There's been a couple other guys.
So many.
Played for the Cardinals, man.
Who played for the Cardinals?
He played for the Angels.
Oh, you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. But he never.
I don't think they got him for juice. Yeah.
He just retired. Was his last year.
Yeah, man.
He wasn't in juicing. There was whispers, but nothing was concrete.
Yeah, he was the pride of St. Louis, man.
Yeah, he was a bad boy.
Pride of St. Louis, man.
Ball players. If I could, in my lifetime, if I could pick 10 guys,
yeah,
he'd be one of the 10, and actually could be one of the 6 or 7.
Right.
He was a heck of a ball player.
Right, because are you talking about? Are we talking about Albert Pujols? Pujols.
One of the great ball players.
He's one of the great ones, man.
This time.
He's one of the greats.
He's a great ball player.
They even named a couple of bars. I played in the bar.
In St. Louis?
Yeah, I played in the bar. It was called Pujols.
Okay.
Pujols, yeah, it's a bar called Pujols there, if they haven't changed it. But and he used to come in there and make appearances.
Okay.
You know.
Albert's a bad boy.
Yeah.
He had a monumental. He had a really nice career.
Yeah, like I said, he was loved.
Yeah.
He was loved, man.
The steroid issue, that era.
They don't talk about that much now.
No, they don't, because it's such a big penalty. If you get caught, you're going to be out of the game for a while. First time offenders go out for 50 games. That's a season. They don't get a salary.
Yeah.
They're out, you know, and then the second time I think they're out like 100 games. So it's more now of either there. It's almost kind of like, let me put it like this: if they can figure out a way to juice and not get caught, because they have random testing.
Okay.
If they can figure out a way to juice and not get caught, then they'll probably still do it. But then if you can't